Hello. Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. Sorry, next day I'm having some network challenges today. Over here we have some weather. Monsoons have come up, so the weather is little off over here. Okay, so I think we were creating these charts yesterday. Right? Yep. So the pipe operator is basically this is called as pipe. Basically, pipe is nothing. So when you have to apply multiple steps or multiple things in the deploy bracket, so instead of writing the brackets within the brackets, you can use this pipe operator over there, right? Like for example, the same question that you were doing yesterday, right? You have to calculate the average, the mean horsepower, right? You have to calculate the mean horsepower. So how we were writing the function was we would have written that okay, filter the data set that is empty cars. Then we apply the filter cylinder equals to 6, right? Then this data is used, and from this data what we do is we summarize and we try to find the mean of HP, right? This is a normal process how we will write that the complete function. This okay. So what we do is if you run this function now over I think if something else went wrong in this. So what I was showing you was this, right? So if we write this function, right, normally we would write this function this way and get an answer. So this could be a little complex for a person to understand, right? If you want to make it easy so that it's easy to write and easy to comprehend, we use pipe in that case. So basically, we simply say that I have a data empty cars, right? What is the next step that I want to do? I will use a pipe, and I'm saying from this data set empty cars, I would like to filter cylinder equal to 6. I would like to filter the data for 6 cylinders. And on this, I would like to apply a pipe. And then I would like to summarize the data and find the mean. So instead of writing within the brackets over here, you just use the pipe over here, in which we go step by step from one step to another. Right? So this is something that we call it as pipe operator. So if you see, you don't have to again and again just you have to specify the data set once, you have applied the filtering condition, and then the mean is getting calculated. That is what a pipe operator is.
Is it like from the data set applying pipe, do a filter condition from the filter result set, you're doing this mean likewise?
Sorry?
No, from the empty cars data set, you're applying a filter condition, then followed by pipe. With the result obtained from the filter condition, you're finding the mean likewise.
Yes, yes. So it's going from one step to another. So we pick the data set, then we filter the data, and then we find the average horsepower.
Amit, is this a generic operator? Can be used in any language?
dplyr. So this you get with the dplyr package.
Okay.
So now taking things ahead. So yesterday what we did.
Sorry to interrupt. Before that, do you have any simple assignment to start with the joins? This NYC flights PDF, right? I can able to solve only one or two. After then that, I
So
feel
you
it's
can use the
somewhat.
orders table. You can use the orders the Excel file that you have. I mean, so on that we were doing that day, right? So you can use the orders. You can try to solve the questions on them. That okay, this orders and returns, how many returns, how many not returns. So you can use that as a source for that. Or maybe you can then you can what you can do is the SQL, the assignment that I shared, right? That computer manufacturers, employee management. So they are small tables, so you can copy that data into the CSV and load it, and then there is 5 to 10 records. You can use that as well for the vendors.
What was the data set you said for SQL?
The SQL, so when I give you two assignments, then starting that the employee management and that computer
Customer.
manufacturing.
Okay, okay.
So you can do that also because everything is same. You just copy that data and paste it to a CSV.
Okay,
And yeah, so you can do those questions using dplyr package.
okay.
So now like yesterday, what we did was we had seen that how we can create the scatter plot, right? That is what we had created yesterday. Now let's take up the things ahead. And then what we will do today is let me, I don't know. I just have to install the packages again. Install the packages. So I was trying to do some cleanup yesterday on my system, and I think I have removed that folder where all this R stuff is saved. So what we'll do today is we are going to explore the next chart, that is bar plot. Okay, now bar plot is something that we have already seen in the using yesterday the base function also. So we have this over here as well. So suppose, let's try to understand it. We have a data set by the name of stars. Where is the data set? One second. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's, in order to just make that up, let's use the bank data that we were using, right? Let's try to use the bank data set and let's try to understand the bar chart on that. So what we will do is, first of all, we will read the data, right? So we will say bank data, and I will say read.csv, and let's go to that path.
You said the UK bank customer, that data?
Yes, yes, that one. Okay. So in this data set, let's just now load this up. Okay. So see, what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to create a normal bar plot, right? So I say that this ggplot, okay, the data set, see everything, the syntax and everything remains the same. I say that I want to use bank data, aesthetics. I'm saying X equal to region. On the x-axis, I am saying region plus geom underscore. I'm going to now make a bar chart. So you have geom underscore bar, and you will see a bar chart will be created right away. Okay. So now this bar chart that we have created, right? You want to apply those colors and all. Definitely you can do that. Suppose you say color equal or maybe fill. So if I say fill equals to red, so the color will change according to that. Now suppose you want, right, this chart that we are creating. Now this is a normal bar chart that we have created. Suppose what I want to do is I want to split this chart. What I would like to do is I would like to split this chart by the job classification, right? That in England, how many people are doing white collar job, blue collar job, and others. And the same thing I would like to do for Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Suppose this is something that I'm trying to achieve now. So what I can do is I can use the same concept that aesthetics fill equals to filling I would like to happen on the basis of job classification, right? So we will find that the job classification. So I can say fill equals to job dot classification. Close this. Okay. So now if you see the chart now if you see the chart has got broken up, right, into three parts. Now that each chart, so this is called basically stacked bar chart over here. So this is how you can create this up. Normal bar chart being stacked up, broken up by colors. Okay. So are you able to make this?
Is there a way to change colors in the bar chart according to the classification?
You can do that. So if you just come plus over here, so what you do, you say scale, fill, you will find this. You can give the color. Suppose you want to give the color as red, yellow, green, red, yellow, purple, right? So the color will change.
Okay. But the colors before you showed, is it a default one or?
The default colors.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to use scale, fill, manual, right? So basically we are now filling the colors manually. So you define that colors in the same sequence. So first color was blue color, then other, and then white color. So that is how it takes it out.
Okay.
Amit, if I give the hexadecimal code instead of colors, will it work?
That will also work.
Okay.
Okay. Now in this bar chart, what we have is we have one more thing that we can use, that is called as position, right? Like in the geom bar chart that I have created, what I'll do is I'll put a comma over here and I can say position equals to, right? So if I say position equals to, and I write suppose something like this, dodge. So if you run this, so the chart you will notice chart is same, but instead of bars being stacked up, they are now clustered over here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Right? So you can see this is basically your dodge. So a clustered bar chart is used or created with the help of dodge.
Scroll right, please.
Sorry?
Scroll right position. Because there is a position underscore dodge also. I don't know if it is the same.
Position equal to dodge.
I'm saying there's a position underscore dodge also when I was writing position. I don't know if that is the same function.
I am not. You are asking what on this chart you're asking?
Yes, so when I was writing position, it was coming position underscore dodge. If you start typing position.
So when you write this over here, it's like a function over here, right? So this is again, change putting that position only. So this will also work with that in that same situation.
Okay.
So it's like a separate function inside it, the position bound.
Okay.
So Marina, yes, if you want a horizontal bar chart, so you will just say instead of X, you will say Y. So that will become horizontal. But on Y axis, you want the regions, the chart becomes horizontal.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, monkey starts with M.
And similarly, in the position, you also have one more option that you will find, that is position as fill. If I come over here and I say position equal to fill, now what's going to happen over here is you will notice now it's showing the 100% chart. So now output comes in the form of percentage, that in the Wales, almost like, around 60% people, they were doing a white collar job. This percentage of people were doing others, and these are blue collars. So it's a 100% chart that we feel. So now next, what we can do is we can create a box plot if we want, right? So we want to create a box plot using the ggplot package. So again, if you say ggplot and the bank data that we are using, suppose I want to create a chart on age, right? So using that variable age, I want to create a box plot. So I will say geom underscore box plot. So you will see that on x-axis the age has come up. So a box plot has been created that how the age is varying from minimum of quartile 1 to quartile 3, and this is the mean value. Whether we should keep it this way, will be better. So let's use this on y-axis.
Can you show the code, please?
Now similarly, what you can all do is now just install a package that is Plotly, right? Please do that. Install packages dot Plotly. Now this package is nothing much. It is just going to help us do one little thing in order to bring some little interactiveness in the chart. So please all of you install this package Plotly. Okay, if I put this into the library now, library Plotly. Okay. See the use of Plotly package is just that it gives you one function that is ggplotly, right? You will get a function ggplotly. Now in this you have to just copy and paste any of your gg and plot the code that you have written. You just copy that and bring it over here, right, inside that Plotly and run it. The difference that you will find is that the chart that gets created, right? If you hover on this, it will give you the tooltips and you will be able to see that data is here, which is not possible in the ggplot. So it gives you that little bit of an interactiveness in the charts, right? So everything remains same. You just have to copy and paste that chart that you have created using ggplot inside the ggplotly.
Is it a sub package of ggplot, this plotly?
Sorry?
Is it like a sub package of ggplot?
The package is different only. The package is different. Just that we can embed. We can just put all the charts that we did inside this package to get those interactiveness inside it. Yeah, but sometimes what's something the thing you can say it is mostly like derived from that the ggplot only. That somewhere the features and functionalities come from that package.
Okay. And if you want to learn about more packages, how should we do it? Because there will be many packages.
So help you can just find each and everything. Just type the name of the package and you will find everything in there. Right. So there's all the links in it.
Amit,
Huh?
I'm not able to install Plotly package.
What's the error that you're getting?
No, I'm not getting anything. It's just stuck. And I'm getting stop sign, and I tried pressing escape.
It will take some time. So
Okay.
it takes a couple of, a few seconds to get installed.
No,
You're getting that
I'm waiting for a few minutes. I'm waiting for a few minutes, and I closed.
You should share your screen now.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually still installing. It is trying to hit that network because this is already showing right now. Just wait a moment. Do one thing, just stop. Click on stop. Click on stop. Click on this. Interrupt this app. Click on yes. I know this has just got stuck. So this. Oops.
Okay, I'm taking that in the class. Let me.
It was stuck. No, otherwise it doesn't do that.
Okay. No, I close it and I open it again, but still same thing happen again. And let me restart our system if required, or let me restart the R again. Let's carry on the class. Yes.
So now, coming back to this ggplotly again, right? So in this ggplotly, the chart that we had created, right? Like for example, let me pick up the box plot chart. Okay. Now, like on these charts, what you can do is you can apply some themes if you want. Suppose if you put this chart and you say plus theme, if you say theme underscore, the moment you will write the word theme, you will start getting a lot of themes over here, right? Suppose you want to apply some dark theme. So what will now happen is the chart that you will get, it will have a dark theme. So these are not like very very interactive. It just see, you will see the chart over here. Okay, so we see this chart over here now. So you can just, the colors and all will be changed. Suppose you now, if you want to use some other theme, so you just have to say plus theme underscore minimal. And now you will notice the theme gets different over here. Okay. And in fact, there is a separate package also that you can install. If you just install this package, that is GG themes, right? There's a package that gives you a lot more themes now. You can install this package as well. So if you install this, put it into the library. Now what will happen is if I just use this function now and I say plus gg theme, plus theme, you will get a lot of things from the gg theme as well, right? You see this theme is coming from gg themes package. This is also coming from gg themes package. So if you run it, you will now see the theme is something like this. Okay. And similarly, if you come over here, right, there is a portion that we call as facet. Now, facet is something which we use to break the chart into multiple parts, right? Like in order to understand this thing, I'll just create that scatter plot again, right? The ggplot empty cards data set. If you remember, right, we did this the chart yesterday where I said on x-axis I want to keep the weight, on the y-axis I would like to keep the mpg plus geom underscore. I'll use this point chart, right? So what happened is this is going to create a scatter plot for me. Now what I do is I can use something called as facet grid. Okay, facet grid means you want to break the chart into some grids. Suppose I say that I want to break this chart by cylinder. So just first of all, look at it. I just explain you what I have done, right? Just a simple command, cylinder tilde sign dot. So now if you will see the chart has broken up by cylinders. This is a chart for 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders, right? You can see that number of cylinders over here, 4, 6, and 8, right? So this is what facketing is. So basically what we do is in facketing, we have two things, row, comma, column. So I am saying first is row. I am saying break the charts row wise by cylinder. So basically you see in row 1 4 cylinders, in row 2 6 cylinders, and in row 3 8 cylinders. That is what that facet grid is doing. Dot over here means rest of the variables, right? Rest of the variables that we have in the chart. So if you just inverse this thing, if instead of writing this side over here on the tilde you write cylinder over here, the chart will become column wise. So before tilde sign on the left side you have row, on the right side you have the column. So now if I've done it this way, so the chart becomes column wise now, 4 6 and 8. Getting it, what this facet grid is doing? So now please try this out. Yep. Are you all able to try this out? Okay. Now, in this, if you want, you can define two variables as well, right? Row and column. Both the sides you can apply it. Suppose you want to keep gear on rows and cylinder on columns. So if you run this now, see, row wise you have the gears 3, 4, 5. Column wise you have the cylinders. So now these are those cars which have 4 cylinder 3 gears. Now these are 4 cylinder 4 gears. Guys, just give me one moment. Sorry, yeah. So Evan, have you all tried this chart?
I have a question on this. So yesterday you'd spoken about that how we can paste name, additional name. So I tried to paste the cylinder instead of 4 cylinder, 6 cylinder, 8 cylinder. And I was trying to do the same for 3 gears, 4 gears, 5 gears. But for gears, it didn't happen. I don't know why.
I couldn't get it. What you were trying to do?
So yesterday when we were talking, we can paste some additional text in front of a column. right? And I was trying to do that for the cylinder column. So this plot was showing us 4 cylinder, 6 cylinder, 8 cylinder. I was trying to do the same for this 3, 4, 5, 3 gear, 4 gear, 5 gear, but it didn't happen with the same code.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Yeah. So here, if you see, I got the 4 cylinder, 6 cylinder, 8 cylinder. I was trying to get the gear word here.
Where have you done that? For
So here, empty cars. I took that cylinder, created a new column, and cycle cylinder word to this column. And same thing I was trying to
can
do.
you check the data set? Can you just check the data set? Just that a copy column that you have.
So cylinder.
So scroll on the right side.
Yeah.
Right. So you have 6 cylinder and 4 gears. The column. So you have made 2 other columns, cylinder copy and gear copy.
Yeah.
The 2 columns were created. So you have to use these columns now in that chart. So chart that you have created, gear and cylinder copy. So instead of that side, the cylinder is coming up. You can see it's coming 4 cylinder and this. Yes. So gear underscore copy.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so this is what we have in terms of the charts and graphs that we can create, right? So on top of that, so what we will do is we will do a case study, right? A small case study in order to see the utilities of all these charts and everything that we have done, right? So this is something that we'll explore, and yep, so this is where I think I'll take a pause for today. So mostly, the stuff that we have to, cover it up in the in the context of R. So we have done that up, right? So basically, the basic programming. So basic programming, the loops and all, your data manipulation, and this visualization. Okay, so this is something that we have covered it up over here in this R. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll do a small case study on how you can make use of the ggplot package to create quick visualizations and all, and get some insights out of it. So that is where we'll then close with the R as well. This asked the R program.
Was there something coordinates also which we had to cover after facet?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there is one Cartesian coordinate. So basically, Cartesian coordinate is like when you create this chart over here, right? So like suppose this geom point ggplot chart that you have created. So these are called as x and y axis, right? So these are called as x axis, and this is the y axis. So this is like something like if you see this chart is coming from 0 to 5, right? So coordinates is basically just right over here. Coordinates Cartesian. If you say x limit equal to c, you say 0 to 4, right? So what this is going to do is on the x-axis it will only show the data from 0 to 4 only, and after that data that you have, that will be removed, or that will be, you can say, filtered out from here. So that is what that coordinates are basically. If you run this now, you see the chart is coming only from 0 to 4. The data after that has been truncated. So this is coordinate Cartesian. So where you can define that on x-axis and y-axis up till what point do you want to keep the data. Right? Similarly, if you put a comma in this and you say y limit, you can apply the same thing on that also. So y limit you want to say suppose from 0 to 30. So you say 0 to 30. So that is the coordinate limits that you have. So you see the chart is now coming between 0 to 4 and 0 to 30. Okay. That is your coordinates. You can all use this packet grid coordinates. Everything can be used together as well. The themes and all. You just have to apply a theme. So you can say plus theme again on this. So the theme will be applied again. Right? Okay, guys. So anything else you like to discuss?
I'm getting an error when trying to do this. This is the code I've written.
Sorry?
I'm getting an error. It's not with the Cartesian coordinates. I'll just paste in the code.
Just take the syntax. You can share your screen.
This is the code. I just pasted in the chat. I'll share my screen also.
You see that plus sign there are. It's on the left side.
Sorry?
Plus bracket grid. So plus sign will come in the above. So the plus sign that you have written now,
Yeah.
in line number 45. So line number 45 plus that you have written,
Mhm.
that should continue in the line only. So the line breakage starts from the plus sign. Plus sign will come in the last of 44. Yeah.
And then I can do enter over here. Like,
Then you can do that.
okay, okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, thank you. See you guys now.